how I got into tech, I will tell you guys it was mere mistake. I wasn't even planning to go into tech. It was just mistake. It just happened by mistake. So I finished from Lauderdale Capitola University, and in 200 level, you guys can actually cross from one department to another. And I was one of those kids that their parents always wanted them to be a medical doctor, but it wasn't my way. Then I was actually given, I think I was offered an admission into fine art. I'm sure a whole lot of my friends, haven't heard this story. I was offered an admission into fine art, and my dad would say, what do you want to be doing? So at that point, I felt it was something I could do because I had one uncle at that time who was making a whole lot of money from art. So I went into the first class, and people do very nice pictures. And the lecturer came and said, no, this will be 2/10. And I was like, if this guy can, draw this nice picture, and this guy is saying 2/10, I don't even know how to draw. How will I make, how will I tend to, graduate from this department? Then that was what triggered it. I went to collect my change of course form. I went to mechanical engineering, and I was there. Some issues came up maybe 2 weeks before the exam, and I went back to a friend of my dad's friend. It was like, because the change of course form, I think change of course was about to end at that particular time. And one thing in Lautech is, if you do not find a department within that session, within that particular time, you will need to float. Float in the sense that you have no department to yourself. You stay on the same level till the following session. So I went back to my dad's friend, and he was like, what department did you say it doesn't want to take you in? I don't know when I mentioned computer. And that was how I went into computer. It wasn't something I was even looking at, and I will tell you that was where everything, started from. So that's a little, and I think we'll talk about more when I start doing my, presentation. So I'm just going to share my screen now, and let's go to what we have for today. So let me know when you can see my screen, please. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see the screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, that's fine. So now we're going to be talking about the journey into the tech world. I just mentioned, I just explained how I got into tech world. It was just mere mistake. It wasn't something I was looking at, and it just happened. But I will tell you, this is something I've never regretted. And most of my friends then, computer science, computer engineering, wasn't one of the course anyone wants to be attached to at that particular time, because we believe, those guys are just too playful, or let's say they are not serious. There is nothing going on in their department. Mostly you'll see, the guys that are there, and maybe I will tell you, were one or two guys, or more than everyone came in there, maybe by mistake or something. But I will tell you that today, everyone maybe that has studied maybe pharmacy, studied mathematics, now they are now the big guys in tech now. So if you check what course maybe one or two guys have studied, you will notice that it's not even, the computer science that we know. And I've seen in my journey in this tech world, I've met people that doesn't even have, or let's say have not even attended any school, and they're doing very fine in tech. And that's one good thing about tech. They don't care what you study. They don't care even if you go to school. I think the only downside or drawback if you don't go to school is the fact that you might not be able to take some managerial position, in tech. However, even if you study Yoruba and you know what you're doing, in tech, you can come in there and, even topple those ones that are that actually studied computer and the likes. So today we'll be looking at the journey into the tech world. What will I be doing better? What will I have done better if I'm going to start this journey again? So I do not want you guys to make the same mistake. Like I said, when I came into tech, 2014, when I started job, um, I was a Java developer before then, but just because I needed a job at that particular time, and I had CCNA, so the HR at that particular time in my organization said, you know, we have a system analyst job for you if you can take it, But for now, you cannot, get the job of a programmer because there was someone that was better than me at that particular time. And because I needed the money, I had to just switch. Then from there, I was there for almost 2, 3 years, then switched to networking again. From networking, switched back to infrastructure. So it was not the kind of journey you guys want to go to. So, but since 2019, 2018, I've been in the cloud now, and I don't see myself switching to any other, domains, even when you want to have a very good understanding of some of the other domains. So let's take a look at what are the things we need to do. So the first thing is you need to assess your motivation and goals. So what are the things, what are the things that motivate you? What are things that drives you? I would say 50% of people trying to course into tech now are being driven by, the money, the salary. And I listen to some people and they will tell me, yes, tech guys are being paid well, but they've forgotten that there are a lot of sacrifices. It's something I do every day. I wake up every 3 a.m., every day. Not just because I don't like sleeping, but because I don't want to be left alone. One thing about tech is you need to make sure, you are always on top of your game. I wake up not just to, make some calls or chat, to read or improve myself on some of the skills, or some of the things I've been doing, or some of the things I think I need to improve myself on. So, but it's not compulsory you have to wake up 3 a.m. My 3 a.m., I sleep as early as 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. So it's still the same time. So if you sleep by 10, 11 and you wake up by 5, it's still. So I just believe the midnight or the night works for me, for me to actually assimilate or read something. So the first thing is what actually motivates you. Don't let the money drive you. 2019, when we started with Tech Expert, you know, and I will always give kudos to tech experts, and because everyone I've knew along the line, from tech experts are actually excelling. Even when we were there, we thought it wasn't going to happen. I will tell you, I took a pay cut, almost 50%, to join tech at that particular time, and and I will tell you, I've not for once did I regret, doing that, because what I've learned, and what I am presently, when it comes to career wise, I will give kudos to tech. They've done a very good job. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to clearly define your career goals. So what do you really want to do? You want to become a database engineer? You want to become a cloud engineer? What learning path? So, like Siri have said, you see some people learning about maybe introductions of Python, and excuse me, maybe on LinkedIn, they see someone, that posted that he got a job as a cloud engineer, and is being paid £3,000. Another person got a job as a database, or let's say as a network engineer, £2,000, you know, and you feel like, am I really doing, should I really be doing what I'm doing? And you jump to, the cloud engineering field. Then again, maybe you see someone, getting a job as a programmer and you jump again. So that's not the way to make decision. You need to make your own decision. One thing I do, even when I'm studying, I always have a path that I go to. I don't just randomly pick videos on YouTube and start watching. So you need to set a roadmap to know what you really want to do. What is the area part? What are your career goals within IT? What do you really want to do? So those are things you need to at least set before you jump into IT, because like Siri have said, there are a lot of career paths, when it comes to IT. So we talk about data, talk about database, infrastructure, even the new one now, which is the AI and the platform engineering. So a whole lot of, but I can tell you, most of these area paths are now centered around cloud computing for now. So I would say that's the big thing for now. But very soon, everything is shifting towards AI. But even though AI is still, on that same technology, on that cloud computing technology, but you need to clearly, structure your learning path. What are your career goals? These are things you need to clearly define before you start, anything in IT. So the next one is for you to understand the IT landscape. So, like I've said, we have a very broad, domains when it comes to IT. So at least just understand the part. The fact that I said I jumped from one career path to another, yes, this has actually given me that, unique perspective, to understand a whole lot of area path in IT. You want to concentrate on cloud computing. It doesn't mean you should not understand how database works. It doesn't mean you should not understand how AI works. Because at the end of the day, for you to be able to at least, let's say, topple your mate, you need to have a very broad understanding of various domains. So that's the only time, we can actually say, yes, this guy is a senior guy in IT. So you don't just streamline yourself into one, particular domain, though you want to concentrate on a particular domain, but have an understanding of other domains. You don't want to always keep quiet when others are talking. So I've heard people ask me, oh, if I start cloud computing now, do I need to understand programming? The honest truth is yes, but it doesn't have, you don't have to if you don't want to. But the good thing is, when it comes to automation, whatever you need to do, maybe a task that you need to do for 3 hours by clicking, your GUI, or by clicking the portal, I will have done it, within 15 minutes by running some line of code. So you want to check if that works for you, or you just want to be, on the portal clicking for 3 hours. Why? I'm taking a nap. I just run a code that does the automation for you. So you want to have a very good understanding of various domains. Then, what are some of the domains that we have that you have to at least have understanding? No way. You cannot shy away from it. When we talk about networking, when we talk about security, databases, yes, no matter where you are in IT, except you want to be maybe a UI UX engineer, but if not, you want to be a programmer, you want to be a cloud engineer, you want to be a platform engineer, an AI engineer, you will need to understand, some domains like security, networking, database, and the likes. So the next thing is for you to identify your areas of interest. So what are some of the areas of interest? You see, all this networking we talk about now, all this security, all this database, the good thing now is everything is now in the cloud. So if you are aspiring to be a cloud engineer, you need to understand all these things. Even being an AI engineer is now hosted in the cloud. So that's that. Please give me a minute. I think just a minute, please. Sincere apologies. My system wasn't charging. All right. So the next one is for us to now acquire, fundamental IT knowledge. So, like I said, there are some things, there are some domains you need to at least understand very well. Networking is one thing you need to understand. Even if you're a cloud engineer, they will still push you back to IP addressing. You need to understand how IP addressing works. You need to understand how some of the network devices work, like the router, like the switch, for you to be very successful. Security is something they don't joke with. If you go for an interview, uh, if it's a database engineer, if it's a cloud engineer, an AI engineer, platform engineer, you will be asked questions related to security. So security in IT is something we don't joke with. So regardless of the domain you're picking, you need to understand security because everyone is trying to attack, um, or any vulnerable or loopholes. So you need to be that's why you see a whole lot of cybersecurity engineers now. Even at that, there's still shortage in that domain. Kudos to cyber girls. They're doing a whole lot of jobs, trying to make sure everybody comes of age when it comes to security. Then familiarize yourself with operating system. Like I said, I've said this. Networking, basic programming concept, operating system. You want to understand how your operating system works, be it Windows, be it Unix, because these are things you cannot shy away from. I would liken this to when you are playing, computer game. For guys, we'll say when you play soccer against computer, um, the harder you go, the computer will adjust to how, let me say, your skill is. So if you're a very good player, you will see that the thing is the game will go very tough as against when you are just a novice. That's the same way. When you go for interviews, sometimes the interviewer might feel like, yes, this is a very good guy. He knows the technical part of it. And it takes you back to, simple concepts. I start asking you simple concepts. And when you fail, they don't expect you to fail because a whole lot of people, they just try to understand, the more technical parts and leave the basic concept. So it's something you do not want to do. You want to understand the fundamental. The fundamental cannot be shy away from. You have to. Then, like I said, there are a lot of domains, but almost every domain is now being pushed to the cloud. So I would say the basic concept, the basic domain now that we currently have is the cloud computing domain. So regardless of the fact that you want to go into the cloud computing or not, I would advise that you have a very good understanding or at least learn the fundamental of cloud computing. Dive into cloud computing concept, understand what cloud means, understand some of the cloud providers that we have, understand some of the models that we have. We'll talk about some of the cloud providers like the AWS, the Azure, the cloud. So there is a reason for us moving, or let's say for all organizations shifting their base into the cloud, because there are a lot of benefits. We'll talk about the availability, we'll talk about scalability. I'm sure most of us are actually from Nigeria, and you'll remember then that whenever we write, JAMB exams, and when it's time for us to now check results, some people might have to go to the cyber cafe like 4 or 5 times before they are able to check their result because there will be a lot of traffic on JAMB sites. So with cloud, that's where we have it, the scalability kicks in, regardless of the number of traffic, the incoming traffic coming into that particular, application, it can actually handle it. We talk about availability, your application is always available. We do understand that for banks, especially the ones, in our area, They'll send you a mail saying some of our applications will not be available at this particular time because we want to at least maintain our server or do some patching on the server. With cloud computing, your data, your application is replicated to maybe another region to make it available at a particular time. So these are some of the reasons why every organization is trying to tilt towards cloud. And this is one of the reasons why you need to understand cloud. At least, no matter where you're working, even if you're a project manager, now you work in the cloud because all this Jira, all these Azure board, they are now in the cloud. So everyone now use the cloud versions. So that's one thing you need to know. Then this is one thing I would say very, very important. Yes, like I said, I wake up every 3 a.m., every day to read. And it's not just to read the theoretical part. The practical experience is very important. Let me tell you a story here. When I joined Tech Expert, everyone that, all my colleagues here knows, I'm this kind of guy. I will tell you I'm fearless. Um, I was challenging those people on that I met then. I keep telling them, okay, send me some of this case. They would say there are some domains that are very, very difficult, and people tend to not, So the way Tech Expert works is, we pick some tickets and resolve tickets, customers' tickets, and there are some domains that people don't like getting ticket from, like the Azure B2C, which is the technology behind you signing in with your preferred identity, or security when it comes to Key Vault. And I told them at that particular time, I said, I will be the go-to for some of these domains, for some of these services. And, the first week when I came into tech, I challenged who was actually assigning case to them at that particular time. And what he did, he assigned two of those cases to me, very difficult cases. And so that week, or let me say for almost 2 weeks, I will go home and the only thing I'm thinking about are just those cases. I didn't have, at that particular time, I wasn't having a very good life at that particular time. I was always looking at, because they were very, very difficult. But that actually strengthened me. So kudos to some of my colleagues like Femi Hamid, Benedict Benda. They advised me that time, just create your own environment and try it out. And that's one thing I need you to always do. Whatever you're learning, don't just read. Yes, you can read and say, yes, I know this. Then you move ahead. No, you want to try it out. There's a difference between when you just read the documentation or when you just read the documentation and when you try things out. It's very different, totally different. So I kept, replicating whatever I was learning at that particular time. And I will tell you that when I left, or before I left, I was actually the go-to to some of those technologies. Even when I might not be the best guy, supporting those technologies, but I was there. And that actually earned me, a job in one of those technology with a US organization at that particular time. So that's trying your, whatever you're learning, the hands-on experience is something you do not want to shy away from. Don't just read it, try it out. So create different, environments. Try to create whatever you're learning. Don't say yes because they've explained it in this documentation. There is no need for me. I've seen it. No, don't just see it. Try it out, because when you try it out, sometimes the documentation might not explain some of the things, and not until when you try it out, that is when you will understand, oh, this is not the way it works, this is not the way it works. Even when the documentation has said, yes, it works this way, there might be some hidden things that wasn't explained on the documentation, and you want to at least understand that. So hands-on experience, it's something you do not want to shy away from. Then, yes, The next one is for you to pursue, relevant certificates. And what I said relevant certificates. So you see some people on LinkedIn, they have 250 something certificates, just pushing or putting anything they like, this certification, yes, they go for it. No, this one, they go for it. No, you will see in Microsoft, then a senior, a senior, let's say a senior developer, or let's even say product owner, you won't even have more than Microsoft fundamental certificate. It's not as if he doesn't want to pack all those certificates, as against someone that is just coming into IT. And you will see on LinkedIn, the person, he or she has over, 15 certifications already. It's of AWS, um, administrator, Azure administrator, and at the end of the day, you ask simple questions as regards those solutions or those pathway, and it's not even able to answer you give you any good answer. So certification is not a first thing when it comes to IT. You need to understand, the fundamental, understand the technology, understand those services, before you move on to certification. There are some things I do, or let me say there are some certifications I go for now that I do not even have to read anything. Like AZ500, which is the security, AZ400, which is the Azure DevOps, AZ104, which is Azure Administrator. I don't need to read anything, because I understand. There was this I did there was one I did not long ago, which is AZ700 networking, because I have a very good understanding when it comes to Azure VPN, that technology. I do not need to read anything. It's just for you to at least understand the technology, whatever the question, you will be able to answer it. But you see people, they cram those questions from, there is a name we give to it, nothing. So,
DOMS.
but DOMs, they just crash, they cram it, and they go right there. And at the end of the day, you ask them just simple questions about those solutions. They are not able to. So that is not, it's not as if when you have those certifications. I've been working for almost 9 years now. And most of these organizations that I've joined, no one has ever asked me for certification, except when you come in and they say, do you even have anyone? Maybe we are trying to link our certifications, maybe to the Microsoft Partner Center, just for us to get some solutions that we're able to support. So it's not that certification that you're bringing. You need to have a very good understanding of the technology you are trying to support. That's why I will tell you, when you go for interview, because it looks like it's so saturated now, you'll see a cloud engineer post that is being a cloud engineer post now, and you try to apply, you notice that maybe 70 guys or 80 guys have actually applied already, and you feel like, no, it's saturated. I will tell you, 90% of them do not even understand the technology. 90%. And when they are invited for interview, you will notice that they get discarded, or almost immediately, because they don't understand what they are trying to, support. Then this is one thing you don't want to look away from. You have to always attend webinars, attend meetups, go to conferences, because there are some things you will not even be able to read, maybe inside the documentation. And you have people from maybe that particular organization that actually deployed that solution. You have people talk about that solutions. I've been to a meetup, like a webinar. Were explaining about security, and the next day I had an interview, and that was the same thing they asked me. I never used it. I just used, the same thing the guy said. I just said it. So you need to always attend meetups, webinars. You cannot do it alone. You cannot. That's one thing in IT. There is, no matter how knowledgeable you think you are, you cannot do it alone. So join forums, join community, engage with professionals on platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, and that's the way it works. Then you leverage on online learning platform, like Tech Academy Solution. And what Tech Academy Solution is bringing out to us is the fact that they are trying to create different solution, different, courses to help you, kickstart your IT journey from the IT fundamental, cloud computing fundamental, to advanced courses like cloud administrator, DevOps, even I'm sure AI will be coming soon, so UI, UX, and the like. So you need to leverage on online learning platform. And that was something I said the other time. Do not just go to YouTube and start clicking, videos. So you're watching this one now, introduction to to Python, and you notice Java programming course, then you jump to it again. Or let's even say you are actually focusing on Python, and you're watching this particular guy, you're jumping to another guy, jumping to another. No, that's not the way it is. So you need to always create your roadmap. You know where you want to learn from, the particular platform you want to learn from, and you stick to that platform, So don't keep jumping around. So leverage on online platforms, take advantage of, those learnings, and you should be fine. Then stay updated and embrace continuous learning. One thing you always want to do, or else you will lose your job. That's one thing I can tell you. You will lose your job. So IT is not, yes, now I understand how programming works. Because this programming language or this solution, they keep, getting improved. There is a new version coming up every now and then. There are new features coming out every now and then. So you need to always learn. Even on some of those documentation, like Microsoft documentation, each documentation has what we call, what's new. That means what are the new things, what are the new features um, in this, solution, or for this solution. Some of the solutions I've supported in the past, and I will go there now and see, oh, there have been a lot of changes. And they will ask you questions, and you will be acting as if you never understood that particular technology. So that is one thing you always want to do. You always make sure that continuous learning is something you do. So like I said, when I started this particular, presentation, I wake up every 3 a.m. every day, just to, read some things. It might be some new things. It might be some of the things, I've learned in the past. You want to still go and check some of the things. I was trying to make a video on Azure DevOps, and I noticed there was this GitHub advanced security scanning. It wasn't there before. Now you can now do your shift left, your code scanning, your code analysis. So sorry for these jargons, but at least for some of us that understand that part, um, you can now do that, and it wasn't there. So just imagine I'm being asked questions related to that. I would tell them, no, Azure DevOps doesn't have that. Just because I do not check it, there was no continuous learning. So something you always have to do, continuous learning. And the very good way to actually stay, updated is to attend webinars, attend meetups and the likes, and also check documentation of solutions, check what is new on those technologies, try to subscribe to tech blogs, follow industry news, understand what's coming on, you know, then seek mentorship and guidance. One of the things you always want to do also, you have to seek mentorship and guidance. Don't feel like, yes, this guy is just in age. I'm not his mate. Why should I be talking to him? But when it comes to that particular solution, there is no age in technology. So you just want to seek guidance. You want to seek mentorship from people that you feel like they are professionals in the field. You know, and funny enough, you might even have some ideas that they don't even have. So you want to get something. So just share whatever insights, whatever you need to know, and that's one of the best way, um, to transition into IT. Then the last one is for you to tailor your resume and showcase some skills. Um, there is one thing on your resume. On your resume, I've seen people, um, try to let me say design their resume, and on the resume you are not seeing anything. That's why you apply for 50 jobs and you are not called. You want to put in some of the skills that you feel like, yes, the organization are actually looking for. And again, do not just have one resume for all jobs. So I will tell you one thing I do here. Let me see. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing I do here when it comes to resume and interviews. So I check the job description. The skills are already there already. Some of the tools that we use because they are common when it comes to cloud computing. Um, whatever service you are supporting or whatever service you are creating, there are some of the tools, that you might want to put there. So you want to put the skills there. You want to put some of the tools that you know how to use well, on your resume, so that whoever is picking up that resume knows, yes, this is what we want. These are some of the stack that we use. And I believe, yes, with this guy have, the skill, at least just by looking at your resume. Then the next one will be for the interview. But before then, what I do, like I said, I check your job description and I try to, put in one or two projects that I've done which are related to that job description. I put it on my resume, you know. So when you pick up my resume and you're going to the skills or hands-on project that I've done, you will, if you compare that with your job description for that particular position, and it's almost the same thing, and you feel like, yes, I think this is what we want. This is the guy we have been looking for. So at the end of the day, we're being called, for interview, and that's where. So like I said, you have a whole lot of people applying for a particular job. So if you check, maybe cloud engineering role, maybe in the US and Canada, you will see like 490 something people apply for a particular job, and you feel like, do I even have a chance? Yes. That's why you must make sure you have a very good understanding or very good grasp of whatever solution you are supporting. You do not want to waste any interview that comes your way, you know. So the only way to do that is to have a very good understanding. And I will tell you that some interviews I go for, some of my mates can um, tell you, rather put my leg, just stretch my leg on my table and feel relaxed, because I feel, what question do you want to ask me regarding this service or this solution? Especially when we talk about, maybe Azure DevOps and the likes. So when you have the very good understanding of your technology, um, you will be able to cross, um, that path. So during the interview, I try to introduce myself. Then I try to talk about the same hands-on project that I've done that are related to that job responsibilities, you know. And one very good thing about that is the fact that even if your interviewers have, a long list of questions that they've come with, the fact that you are able to describe those projects in depth and it relates to what they have on the job description, they will not ask you questions based on what they have prepared again. They will ask you questions based on, um, based on what you've said. So you need to look into that. But the very first thing is for you to have a very good understanding of, whatever thing you are supporting. And the last one is you have to be resilient and patient. Yes. So time, things like this takes time. Crossing into IT might take you up to 1 year. It might take someone else 6 months. It might take someone else 3 months. But your goal is to have a very good understanding of those solutions, of those technology. So do not jump around. The fact that you started as a programmer now and you feel like, yes, people are getting job in the cloud, computing field, and you jump. So at the end of the day, you keep losing, tracks. So you want to stay on one particular domain. You want to have a roadmap. You want to understand what you want to do, and you go toward those steps. So each step forward is a progress towards your goal, and that's it. I think that's all. Should you have any question, please let me know. So I think you can take it from here.
Yes. Thank you a lot, Babafemi, for your time, and I really appreciate the training and what you've actually spoke about, right? So please, like I dropped on the chat, check your chat. If you have any questions, please drop your questions, and let's take them one after the other, right? So I'll be waiting for the question that will be coming up, but I just want to bring this to our notice. If you are yet to join our community on WhatsApp, kindly do. We're going to drop the link to the community on the chat. So just join our community so we can discuss further after this meeting. Just give me some minute and get the link. Yeah, so we have the question coming up. We have one for Only. Yep. So let's get our question coming in, please, so we can actually answer them. Babafemi, just check through the chat. There are some questions coming up that we can just answer. So if you're like what I said, if you're yet to join the community, please kindly do so. We have I've shared the link to our WhatsApp community. Then we have our website also. You can visit our website for upcoming informations, our upcoming trainings, and also our courses, right, for you to register on. So we have a question from Onuli.
All right.
Onuli, yeah. So Bafemi, you can just take that up.
All right. So yes, there are roadmaps. But one thing is when we start listing some of the services or solutions under the cybersecurity, that will be a lot. But one particular thing you need to know when it comes to cybersecurity is the fact that you need to at least understand the technology you are trying to secure before you look into how to secure it. So let's say you want to secure maybe an application in the cloud. Then you have a very good understanding of, let's say, operating system. You have a very good understanding of networking that you cannot shy away from, because you can only secure when what you understand. You have a very good understanding of maybe application deployment or the like, a little understanding maybe of code and the like. So for cybersecurity, operating system, network, then you move to network security, application security. You want to learn about zero trust security. There are different models, but at least understand the technology that you want to secure before you even push into the security part of things. Does that answer your question? But I can share with you, a roadmap for cybersecurity, maybe after the class.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Bafemi, for that. So I just want to chip in a little thing. So if, like what I said before, if you are new to the tech world, right, and you've done your research and you intend to go into cybersecurity, right, the first thing to do is not just to jump into cybersecurity courses. You have to know the fundamentals of how to secure an environment, right? So that's why we're here preaching, not just jumping into professional courses, right? But first of all, trying to understand the fundamentals of things, know how to secure your phone, your laptop, right? Your access to different Wi-Fi's in your areas. Know how to secure these little things. So with that, you'll be building on what? Knowledge. So before you dive into cybersecurity, like what I said, when we have a course on our platform which is called the IT Fundamentals. So IT Fundamentals is a basic course for everyone that are new or just coming into tech. So if you're coming into tech, I myself will not advise you to go for a professional course. First of all, learn IT fundamentals. So with IT fundamentals, you learn more about basic knowledge of computing. You learn about operating system. You learn about security. You learn about programming. You even learn the basic area of cloud computing, right? In these different areas, in IT fundamentals, right? So, but if you already have a fundamental knowledge of IT, then definitely professional courses, you can go for it. You understand? So, like what I said, this is a webinar for us to educate you, for us to educate you and empower you with knowledge, and so that we can actually mentor you to a stage you want to be in tech, right? So, I don't want to waste much time. So we have a second question for Sikiru. So if I did not pronounce your name very well. So hello, Baba Femi, are you there? We have a second question from Sikiru.
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay. So Sikiru is actually asking that after learning the fundamentals and doing hands-on project, how does one overcome imposter syndrome and be confident to go for interviews?
Yes. So like I said, for interviews, you don't have to be afraid of anything. One thing I've learned over the years is the fact that those guys interviewing you might not even know as much as you know. That's why you see them bringing a whole lot of list of questions. So I've just told you how I do my things when it comes to interview. You see, that long list of questions that you're coming with, I will not allow you to ask me those questions. So I will be the one to push you to where you will ask me questions. That tell me about yourself. That very first question they will ask you, can you tell me about yourself? I'm going to be on that particular question for 15 minutes. Introducing myself, talking about my background, then your job responsibility for that particular position. Then I start talking about projects, hands-on project I've done on it. So if you want, you say, let's say 2 years of experience with deploying application to Kubernetes, then I will come and talk about project I've done, using Dockerfile, building Dockerfile, then, using Kubernetes to manage containers. When I tell you a very detailed, or give you a very detailed explanation about that, you will not start asking me what are demo sets, what are replica sets. No, when I've actually explained, some of the detail, giving you a very good explanation about how I've actually deployed my containers and I've actually been managing them using Kubernetes. So that's the way you do things. So you don't have to be. I've been to interviews where interviewers ask me questions, I ask them questions and tell you, are you, do you really understand the technology you are asking me? Because this is not something I read. This is something, I have a very good hands-on experience when it comes to it. I've been to an interview where somebody was asking me about lift and shift, and I told him, that's not the way it works. Just because I have a very good understanding. Because whatever you understand, whatever service you understand, or whatever solution you understand, it doesn't change. Regardless of location, it doesn't change. So you can actually say, yes, this is what it looks like. This is how it is done. So someone cannot just. So you don't have to be. You don't have to be afraid of anything. So like I said, 70% of your interviewers don't even understand that technology as much as you do. They are just fortunate to be on the other side, of the interview panel. So that's it.
Okay, yeah. So thank you, Baba Femi, for that brief answer. So I think we're spending much time on this, and we're going to take the last questions for today. Right. So the last question is: I learned tech writing and later API documentation. What are the important things I need to work on? So I don't know if I should answer that. Should I go ahead and answer that?
No, you can go ahead, please.
Okay, good. So tech writing and API documentation, they are part of documenting processes that are already planned or already existing, right? So it's just like me creating the solutions, and I call you, okay, I've created my solution. Go investigate the solutions, write documentation out of it, and post it online. So that's documentation. That's API documentation and tech writing. You understand? So what we're training you on is you being able to develop a solution, right? You being able to develop a solution, and that solution will be live in a production environment, or you being able to solve problems using your personal skills, your personal tech skills, right? That's what we have to get. So if you already have the knowledge of writing API documentation, or you have skills on tech writing, it's a plus. It's actually a plus. But you can go to a company and just tell them, yeah, I document APIs and I write, I do tech writing, and they will employ you. No, you understand? You have to show them that you have the skills that is sellable in the market, which our platform is going to equip everyone that's interested in joining us, right? So, but like what I said, if you're new, start up from the fundamental basis. So if you go to our website, you're going to see we have most of our courses are actually targeted to fundamentals, right? To fundamentals, because the major goal of this platform is to train individuals from knowing nothing to novice to experts, right? So we are taking you on a journey until you get to your final destination. So fundamentals, you go to associate, from associate, you go to expert, right? So we're taking you on this journey until you get to your destination. So like I have another question. If the person is asking what are those skills for you to learn, now you have so many skills on tech, right? You can be a programmer, you can be a web designer, you can be a solution architect, you can be an infrastructural engineer, you can be a security engineer, you can be a cyber security expert. These are different skill sets in the tech world. So now, what I'll list up people and what Babafemi has really talked about himself. Now, check what motivates you. Check yourself deep down. What actually motivates me? Do I have a high level of tolerance? Am I impatient? Am I patient enough to be able to understand something? Right? So check your level, check what actually motivates you, and check yourself first before you make the decision of choosing a path. I will use myself for example. When I finished my university, when I was done with my DSC, I went to a program training. I went to train to learn PHP and SQL, and I struggled. Why I struggled is because, not because I cannot learn it, it's because I have low tolerance of patience. You understand? I have low tolerance for that. So I had an error, and the error might stay there for almost 1 week, and I will just be so angry. And at the end of the day, it will just be a single comma or a single apostrophe or a single sign on my code that did not allow that to work. So I find myself loving infrastructure a lot, and I have to what, develop on that. So I develop on infrastructure. From infrastructure, I went to the cloud. From the cloud, I went to DevOps, and here we are today. And we are all having the dividends of whatever we started 8 years back. I was talking far back 2012. You understand? 8 years, 10 years back, and we are all enjoying the dividends. So, and secondly, put it in mind, tech is not an avenue of saying, man, these guys are tech guys, tech bros. You're hearing, I know the social media is the tech bros, the tech women in tech. You understand? You're hearing so much stories and how much they are making, how much they're earning, right? Don't put that as a yardstick to come into tech. If you put money at the forefront of coming to tech, you're going to back out. Yes, there is money in tech, but don't put that at the front of your learning process. Because in tech, you can't get all the money you want in just coming into tech for the first 1 year. It's a journey. It's not, yes, thank you, Kelvin. It's not a quick money making scheme. It's not MMM. You understand? It's not a quick money making scheme. It's a journey. So you start up the journey and you're going from one step to another, until you arrive to your final destination. I have so many friends today that started with nothing, and today they are somebody. You understand? So that's what I want to clarify to everybody, right? So our WhatsApp channel is open, and we have actually posted our social media platform. So you can go check also social media, follow us on our social media platform for more insights and more webinars, upcoming webinars that will be coming. And I have, like what I said, I have so many mentors on this call today that have volunteered to be part of this process, right, to empower individuals, right, and they are ready to work with everybody that wants to follow us on this journey. So I want to
Siri,
appreciate.
before you go, I think I have a different approach when it comes to that question that was asked by Belief,
Okay.
or Believer. Yeah. So she's saying I learned tech writing, and later API documentation. So what are the important things? Yes, even tech writing, is a very good domain, yes, a very good domain. But the only thing is you just want to learn the best practices, if that is what you need to know, understand the best practices of API documentation. There's something I've at least understood in this tech, the fact that whatever you are doing, you want to go out of your way to. I have someone who is a program manager, and is not the usual program manager that comes into a meeting to say, yes, I've put those tasks in Jira, go and pick it. No, he knows how to test API. So developers don't lie to say, yes, that thing is not working. We don't know where that stuff is where that issue is actually coming from. So because she understands, that API testing, no matter what the developer says, she will tell the developer, no, this is wrong. I did a test on that API, and this is what needs to be done. So she can express, she can also interact. She's not someone the developer will just come and, tell some lies and leave the meeting. So whatever you are doing, your tech writing, API documentation, just understand the best practices on how to carry out that job, and that's what you need. But again, like Siri said, you want to at least expand your tentacles. You want to go out of the way a little to understand, some parts. So I was talking to some of my guys, and I said, yes, the main reason why I'm putting out, DevOps videos for now outside there is the fact that I'm already shifting into AI. You understand? But that doesn't mean the DevOps part of me or whatever I've learned related to cloud engineering or networking, no, we leave me, it's still part of it. I'm just trying to understand a different part, of this our IT space. So whatever you're doing, whatever you are doing, like I said, just make sure you put in the best practices in place, and that's the most important thing you need to work on. I say you can.
Yeah, thank you very much for that explanation. So, believe, I guess you're okay with the explanation, right? Just signify by giving me thumbs up. Okay. Great, great. Thank you very much for that. So, like what I said, those of us that had issues joining the meeting or experiencing technical issues, maybe network and the rest, please, we actually recorded this meeting and this webinar, and is going to be uploaded on the website and also on YouTube. So just visit our website, www.techacademysolution.com. And if you're going to have a view, and you can run through the meeting again, right? Then, like what I said, also on our social media platform, and follow us up on our social media platform, and so we will be sharing different insights on this whole journey, right? So I want to still bring it up to you. So after this webinar, we're going to open the floor on our community, right? So we're going to open the floor on our community. I want everybody to participate on that community. Share with me your knowledge, your level, the current level you are on the IT space. If you're a novice, if you're an expert, just send me to your current level, and let's start the mentorship from the squad. Then secondly, we're going to open our courses on our website for registration. So registration will commence from Monday on different courses. So from when we understand the level you are, then we know what to expose you to on our platform, right? So we don't want you to just jump into something that at the day end you're going to run from. We want you to jump into something that you're conversant with and that you're okay, you understand, and you can excel at the long run. So I want to thank you guys for joining, the mentors that actually joined, then Baba Femi for the presentation. We'll be having more of these webinars coming up. Check our space and check our space for more news or more insight from here. And we'll have different individuals from different aspects of life. From I think I have some guys that are ready for our next webinar. They are into programming aspects. That's when we talked about Java programming, JavaScript, PHP, Python. They are all ready to actually come on board and educate you guys on, and also mentor you if you actually choose this area to excel. So from my end, I think we're done with the meeting, and I really appreciate everyone that have been part of this, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you all, and bye.
So guys, you're free to leave the meeting, right? Oh, we actually done.